this day, they will know that if they take one of us, they're going to have to take us all. Mount up.
These racks stuffed in a big bank. Sharks all around, it's a big wave. Mermaid swimming, it's a big tank. I got that big rank, I got that big rank, yeah. Push button whip, I just put off in a lot, I'm jigging. Left the street, now I'm big time pimping. Fully loaded bins, but I'm empty. The money got a funny way of treating me. I get it and start spitting so greasily. Do rap flow, to wake up easily.
And when your body is beaten to the lowest point or the lowest you, so you can't even recognize the man crawling from underneath the belly of the beast, or us. A bright mind on top of dark thoughts. I was told mustard seeds breed and hope floats, so I learned to conquer the current.
Like birds can fly, never knew we was alive. The devil been working, and we still survive. We are the producers of history, these books telling lies. Look at your neighbor to the right and say, neighbor. Yes, it is color people time. See, true humor is laughing at what you haven't got when you ought to have it. Then we never had 500 years of misery to laugh at. Can I get an amen? Amen. The doors of the church are open. Is there one?
What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Deleah Tishay, and I'm in the building with Mac Woods. How are you doing today?
I'm blessed. I appreciate you having me on the show.
No problem. Thank you for coming. So I definitely want to go ahead and get started with, what does Mac Woods mean?
So, MAC stands for Man Articulating Change. The Woods derived from my favorite Kappa man, Lawrence Piney Woods Jones, and it's said that with a noose around his neck and flames under his feet, he spoke words so powerful that the Ku Klux Klan, the KKK, released him and even funded his dream. And see, that inspired me to spit lucid, liquefy lysergic acid with wordplay that makes Lucifer regret living a life of sin. See, it's like if Malcolm Little joined the nation, got released from jealous ex, saw the world's hell and turned back into red. The parallel, black kids' dreams get lost their own address. So it said that a wise man once said nothing. So I closed my mouth as tight as Big Mama's hugs and let my soul speak and spit eloquent reminders of your royalty. See, I got that good D. That good D. That deep, disgustingly devoted, disenslaving distinction of a dynamic determination, but I'm not a rapper nor a drug dealer. I'm a thinker at large. That came from an OKC latchkey kid, engrossed by Souls of Black Folks monologue meets the Dapper Dan Fall Winter catalog. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Mac Woods, and the Mac is for Man Articulating Change.
Okay. That's Mac Woods. So how long, I know you said you've been doing it since Latchkey. So is that when you started doing poetry?
So went to Dale City High School, went to Dale Crest Junior High. Shout out to Dale City, them lanes. Started writing probably about 6th grade. And I really wasn't doing too much of it. I loved hip hop. But I hated poetry because, you know, all the poetry that's pushed to us is, you know, Robert Frost and Shakespeare and a lot of language and situations that we can't identify as, you know, young black kids. And then one day, my 8th grade teacher, Miss Corcoran at Dale Crest in English, in creative writing class, she said, you know, hip hop is poetry. And that just changed everything for me. I started looking at hip hop and poetry very different then. And what happened was I started at the age of, I guess about 11 or 12, I started reading, going back to Kool G Rap, going back to Biggie, Big L, Jay-Z, Nas, and started reading their lyrics. And I'm like, well, this is better than Robert Frost. This is better than Shakespeare. This is better than anything they're giving me at school, and this is poetry. So a lot of times, you know, when people say that rap or hip hop isn't real music, I'm like, man, these are some of the greatest writers that we've had in America's history come from hip hop. So I get a lot of my style, even with my spoken word, from hip hop.
Gotcha. And who is your favorite, say, rapper?
That's a loaded question, but I'm going to just go off the top with Black Thought from The Roots.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who is your favorite author? My
favorite author, that's kind of hard. Gallo when it comes to Alchemist, the Alchemist. That book did a lot for me in college. When I read The Alchemist, it just gave me a mind frame of how that I speak of now, being an executioner, putting things in front of me, understanding the task, understanding how to break the task and execute my goals. So I would say Robert D. Gallo, The Alchemist.
That's awesome. And if you weren't writing, what would you be doing?
I don't know. I feel like I'm doing everything that God put me here to do.
That's
I have a mantra that I'm gonna take all the gifts God has given me, and I plan to give them all back before He takes me. Um, and that's from acting, from community outreach, everything that I do when it comes to the community, from financial literacy to professional development, to even helping people, young people, understand how to go forth and prosper when it comes to resumes and interview critiques, and just how to navigate white spaces. And then, the acting and the spoken word, all of that. But all of it really stemmed from my opportunities of doing spoken word. But I have a large, in-depth background in corporate America.
Gotcha. So with you helping different people, how do they get in contact with you so that they can, I guess, involved in those opportunities?
Well, my Instagram is MacMAC_ since 1985. You can see a lot of everything that I do on there. I have five. My whole branding is under five things. It's family, fitness, fashion, spoken word, and my community outreach. And the community outreach dives into the professional development and the diversity, equity, and inclusion subject matter expert business that I dive into as well. So I focus on those. On Facebook, Cordney McClain, Cordney. McClain, MCCLAIN. Same thing on LinkedIn. And my email, Cordney, Cordney .mc@gmail.com. And I will reply back.
That's important.
I will reply back. Matter of fact, that's a lot of my opportunities come from me just saying yes. So I'm really big on saying yes, but just don't come to me with the BS, because I'm gonna pick your idea apart. I get a lot of solicitation about, I'm interested in doing a boys summit, a boys conference, or whatever, anything for the young people. But if you don't come to me correct, I'm going to pick it apart and tell you, go back to the drawing board and then come back to me, because you can't waste my time either.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That definitely makes perfect sense. So of all the things you do, which one is your favorite?
Ooh, that's hard. Being a family man is my favorite.
That makes perfect sense.
Being a girl dad is my favorite. Shout out to Jay Wig. He, 2 years ago, he created a documentary or short film called Girl Dads, and it focused on black men that are fathering young women. And so, me having two girls, Kimora and Camila, 6 and 5, that has been my greatest accomplishment, being a father.
After scared to be a girl's dad?
It's funny because I always knew I was going to have girls.
That's awesome.
I always knew it. Now, they say a man's daughter is his karma. And back in the day, I was out in them streets. But I will say I dreamed of having girls even as young as like 15. My very first dreams of having children were having little girls. So my family is like 99% women. So I was, raised. So I say, I was raised by a queen, married a queen. Now I'm raising queens.
That's amazing.
So I'm excited, and people be like, "Are you ready to have a son? You gonna have a son?" No, I don't need a son. That's why I mentor like 30 boys, 30 young men. I'm good.
Cool.
I'm good. I don't need any sons. I have my daughters, and I'm content. I'm loving being a girl dad.
That's awesome. So outside of being a girl dad, what makes you keep going with all the things that you do?
Man, desire to build a legacy, and going back to my mantra of I want to leave this place better than how I found it, as in the world. Anything I can contribute to the world, to give back before I leave here. You know, having the mindset to be complacent it's weird for me. When people just want to exist, you know, just have a regular job, and you know, not to shit on regular jobs. You know, everybody has to work, and we need regular workers or whatever have you. But to do whatever you're doing in an excellent manner, the best you can, and to improve upon every space that I walk into, that's my motivation. So that helps me keep going and to try to be better at everything that I'm doing, everything that I have a passion for and love for. So all in all, it's just leave a legacy. You know, I don't want to leave this earth and just be forgotten. I want anything that I've given to this place to contribute to the betterment of society, and to leave my kids a legacy that they can continue to build upon.
Got you. That makes perfect sense to me. So, what are some of the challenges you face along this journey?
Trying to be a supportive husband, which I am very supportive. Yeah, I will give myself that. You know, can we cuss on her?
Yeah.
Okay, well, fuck humble. I don't believe in being humble. I am a Superman. A lot of us Supermans walking on Earth, we are not like everyone else. I am one of those beings. So I walk into these spaces and do all these things a lot of times with my kids on my hip. You know, I don't put that burden on my wife, because I just rather take the load. You know, so if she's going to do an event or she has something to do for work, and I know that I have a full performance, which is very hard to try to get into the mindset as a performer when you know you have kids over here that you have to worry about. So, you know, sometimes I'll show up at a Poetic City event. Shout out to Poetic City. That's family all day. And I'm part of Poetic City. You can reach out to Poetic City, all platforms. When I show up to these events with my kids, it's rough. It's hard. But I think because of the drive that I have to leave that legacy, to be excellent, to contribute the best I can to any space that I walk into, it just helps me deal and prosper, basically.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Has any of your kids ever brought you like a poem, like, look what I did?
Not yet, but one thing they have done is when they study poetry, they'll say something like, "Oh, we studied Miss Maya Angelou today. She's a great writer like you, Daddy."
Aw,
You know,
so
like,
awesome.
yeah. That made me cry. I had to step away. I had to step away, give a little thug tear on that one, because I wasn't expecting that. And they came home after studying Miss Maya Angelou and said, "Oh, yeah, she's a great poet, just like you, Daddy." And I was like, "Oh man." Yeah, that was rough.
That's
that was a rough one. But no, they haven't started writing yet. But my daughter, she loves the stage. She wants to be a singer. She already like choreographs her own like movements and stuff. So she's gonna be a performer. I think she wants to be an actor like me, because she says, "I want to be in movies like you, Daddy." And the youngest, she's an engineer. I mean, she goes. You give her scraps of different things, and she's putting things together and bring you this whole experiment that she's put together. So she's gonna be our little scientist, little engineer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but they haven't really started writing poetry yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing if they will.
That's awesome. Do you ever get to a point where you feel like you want to stop?
No, but rest is important. The issue that I think that a lot of us dream chasers have is we get the notion that going without sleep and this state of insomnia and this stress, it has to be a must to contribute to our success. Now, yeah, it's a part of the journey, but it doesn't have to be something that we have to sustain. But as long as you understand how to begin to start executing and being as efficient as possible with the time that God has allotted you each day, then the stress goes away. You may have a continued sense of urgency. I told my wife I think I need to go to counseling, because I don't feel like I ever stress. I just feel like I have a high sense of urgency. So I'm big on the tabs all over my desk and my desktop, and I'm real big on putting messages in my phone. I'm constantly writing down little dingers, little alarms on my calendars, because I like to be efficient and I like to know with every hour what I'm doing with my time during the day. And I think because I work like that, and my project management in aerospace in the past allowed me to understand how to work efficiently. So I don't stress, but I know a lot of people do. And we have to get out of the mindset of the stress, the insomnia, the sleepless nights is something that you try to sustain. You should never try to sustain that. That's unhealthy. So I just make time. I just make sure I make time to rest. You know, I get my days where I'm not doing nothing and I'm just Netflixing and chilling and spending time with my wife and my kids. Now, the Capricorn in me always feels like I have something to do. So even on the Netflix and chill days, I'm like, damn, I really need to get up and write. I really need to be working on this particular poem, or I need to put this workshop together for this consulting gig, or, you know, I always feel like I have something to do, but it's you got to learn how to turn it off.
That got you. Definitely makes sense. So what is the longest it's taking you to do a piece of art?
God bless. I have not had. I forgot. I almost forgot the term. Writer's block. I don't think I've had writer's block in 3 years, which is a blessing. You know, I get asked. I get requests to do shows, to do album features. And when I do a show, especially if the show has a theme, I write a particular poem specifically for that show, which I don't believe a lot of spoken word artists do. They don't do that. So when you hire me, understand when I charge you is because you're going to get something special for your event. I'm going to have it internalized, which is better than memorized. I can spit, talk to the crowd, and I'll be well dressed and on time. So I take my craft very seriously. So just in doing so, you know, I've learned to make sure that I'm just well prepared. So maybe the longest though. Sometimes I like to sit on my poems. If I don't have to turn around and do something in the next week, I'll manufacture a poem and just sit on it for a couple of weeks because I want to make everything just right. You know, playing with the word usage, going in and out of different concepts, you know, homophones, analogies, playing with the metaphors, alliteration. There's different things like that I want to, the mechanics of it. After I flush out my heart and give my heart and soul to it, then I start playing with the mechanics to make it a little fancy. You know, I don't really do a lot of rhyming anymore. I believe if you're studying the craft, especially as well as I'm studying it, the people that are doing it at a very high level, you don't hear them doing just a lot of rhyming. You know, when I hear poets, my peers doing a lot of rhyming, it sounds honestly very elementary to me. The sport of spoken word has really gotten out of that. Now, I will get in my rhyming pockets where I'm in and out of the rhyme, but you have to be more creative with your word usage. And that's one thing. Published authors, read books. It makes no sense for you to claim to be a published author and be proud to be a published author when you don't read. Reading, studying, researching, documentaries, all of these things help me with my concepts of my poems. They help me as a writer. They help me as just a grown ass man functioning in society. Read. It's fundamental.
That makes perfect sense.
Yes. Yes, read.
What is the oldest piece of art that you remember? Can we get a couple of lines?
Ooh. Man. The oldest. I can't say that I have anything super old because before 2018, I wasn't memorizing my poems. I was making excuses. I was like, because I'm a, even now you can see that I'm long-winded. And that's how I write my poetry. Even the poetry that I have now, that I start off with like 4 pages of just thought, and that's one poem. One poem is like 4 pages. And then once I shrink it down, then I shrink it down to something that I can perform within 3 minutes. But when I sell it, I have my dramatics, and the actor comes out of me. I can make a 3-minute poem go for 7 minutes because I'm putting the acting on top of it. That's why I say I'm a spoken word performer. I'm not just a poet.
Gotcha.
Just a regular poet can go to an open mic and read off their phone. I'm not that.
Gotcha. That makes perfect sense.
So, but when I started memorizing was like 2018. I wish I would have had some super old stuff memorized, but really, I'm altogether, I'm just a better writer now.
Do you have something that you don't perform? Like you liked it when you made it, but you kind of think back like, I didn't really like that.
And I performed it too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I have this poem called Prototype. And basically it's about how the black woman is God. But it's not as creative as if I had wrote it now, which I think I am going to revisit. And that's
you can remix it.
That's a tip, poets. Never trash anything you have. You can always remix it. You can always come back to it and make it better. And that's one thing I think I'm gonna do with Prototype. I love the idea. I had some little witty in and out concepts about it, but the overall delivery of the pen, it could have been better. So I think I only performed it like twice, and then I just stopped performing it because it just wasn't. It wasn't what I wanted out of it. So I'm gonna have to come back to that. Yeah.
What are some of the goals that you set for yourself?
One, whoever is trying to compete and be the best poet in Oklahoma, just understand I am not in that competition. I want to be much bigger than Oklahoma. I want to be someone that Oklahoma's proud of, but I'm not looking to be the best actor, the best poet, the best community outreach, youth, professional develop, subject matter. I'm not trying to put a cap on myself. I'm always gonna rep Oklahoma, always gonna rep Del City, but I'm trying to be bigger than that. And maybe if I can be bigger than that, then I can bring some type of light to how talented we are in Oklahoma. Because every time I go somewhere, perform somewhere, they look at me weird when you from Oklahoma? What? And so to get that stigma off of Oklahoma, hopefully I can contribute to that one day. But to be bigger than Oklahoma in all of my passions, that's one of my goals. And another is to leave a legacy for my children. They may not want to follow in my footsteps in the particular things that I do, but hopefully when it comes to ownership and understanding of owning your own and loving what you do every single day. And yeah, it's going to be some hard days, but to love what you do every day, do it great, and the money will come. I wish I would have understood that going to college, is to pick something I love, be great at it, and understand how to grasp my financial freedom from my passion. Sometimes we get out of the loop of that too. Excuse me. I want to be financially free, but I also want to do what I love every day.
Right. Makes perfect sense.
So sometimes when you hear about these starving artists, they're not focusing on how to get the money. One thing I will always say is I'm going to work the corporate jobs while I do my passion on the side. Just don't allow your corporate job to flood over until when you should be pouring into your passions. Because at the end of the night, when you say, it's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, and you say you're too tired to work on yourself, you're not tired, you're uninspired. So So when I get my babies in the bed and they lay down, I read to them, I pray to them, pray with them, because they're big prayers, and they have their own prayers and what they want to mention in their prayers, what they want to pray to God about. So when we get done with that, that's when daddy time starts. And so from a lot of times from 10 to 1 a.m., that's my time. Then I get up at 6:30 in the morning and get to it all over again. But from 10 to 1 a.m. is usually when I'm in my bag and I'm doing what I need to do for me to be a better me, and to work on my passions. And that's from community outreach stuff, workshops and consulting with DNI, Poetic City events, spoken word, anything that I'm passionate about, my acting and working on and reading and researching, everything that I have got going on with me, I take care of between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. to make sure I'm working on my crafts. So don't complain about you being too tired, because I'm telling you, I can put up my schedule next to a lot of y'all, and I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all not fucking with me. Like, I'm pretty stacked every day. So no excuses. No excuses. You can get it done if you really want to get it done.
That makes perfect sense to me. So how do you measure your success?
I measure my success. I'm really big on SMART goals, specific, measurable, accountable, how to understand exactly what I want out of the goal. So first, what is the goal? Thinking broad, then get more specific, and just keep. I call it an upside down triangle with my students. Get very broad, and then get super specific to the point where you know exactly what you need to accomplish that day, and then break down. Okay, in 2 weeks, what should I have accomplished? Now, being real with yourself, in 6 months or so, you're going to have the bigger goal, but what are you doing tomorrow to go towards that goal? If it's been days, if you're a writer and it's been days and you haven't written and you're not technically on your break, just trying to, get some time to yourself, then what are you doing? You should be writing, you should be working on performing, you should be working on poems. If you have a specific goal, whatever goal that is, you should be doing something to it, contribute to it, like every single day. And so how I measure success is I have my bigger goal, and then I keep track of what I'm doing at the end of each week that contributed to that goal. So that way, it's not this big dream that is so far away that seems like I can't attain it. It's something that I'm tracking every single week.
That's awesome. That's definitely awesome. So if a younger you were to walk in here, what are some of the things that you would tell yourself? What advice would you give yourself?
First thing I would say is network and build relationships early. When I was in college, I was on my Aubrey Graham, no new friends. And I had to learn that between code switching, I use code switching as not a tool of assimilation, but a weapon of infiltration. So to understand that code switching does not have to be something that you're in the sense that you're tap dancing, that you're giving away your culture, that you're giving away yourself, that you're forgetting about where you came from. It's chess, not checkers. You're learning to play the game. So understanding that, when I was a young black man, I was very rah-rah Black Panther this, especially after reading autobiography of Malcolm X and digging into James Baldwin, Marcus Garvey, tapping into those heroes. I was an angry black man. So I graduated from OU and went to corporate America, an angry black man. And you have to learn how to play the game. So I understand that even as early on into my professional career, I probably was blackballed real early because I came off aggressive because I was in these white spaces and I was the only face in these white spaces, and I know how I came off. I was not playing chess, and you have to understand as a young black person in these environments how to navigate them. So I would say network, understand code switching, and understand that yes, you are a threat, but because you are a threat, understand how to navigate these waters and that would have put me in a position financially and career wise to I would have been where I am now faster when it comes to like money and savings and credit and just overall being put together. So maybe my passions, I could have been able to fund them and dig into them earlier, because I really started tapping into my passions. And maybe I'm 37 now, maybe at age 30, 32. I had been doing poetry readings at OU, but I really wasn't, really digging into my passions until I got jealous, seeing people performing dope poetry. Shout out to Jay Wig and Proverb at Ice Event Center every Wednesday. Been going strong for 5 years. Very proud of them over there. That's family. I don't get to make it out on Wednesday nights, but that's family over there. Um, I was seeing people do what I love on stage every week, and I was busy working for someone else, taking the work home, continuing to fund someone else's dreams when I wasn't living out my own. So I had to tap into that, and that didn't happen until maybe 31, 32. So one, network, understand code switching and how to utilize it, and tapping into your dreams early. Tap into your dreams early as possible. And if your dreams scare you because they're huge, then you're dreaming right. Because they should be big.
That's dope. So with everything that you do, how do you prioritize which one you're going to do?
So like if I have two different events come in my lap and they
Yeah.
okay. That's hard. That's hard. I don't want to be like this, but whichever's paying me the most at the time.
That makes sense.
It's whichever's paying me the most. Like saying for instance, and shout out to Bleak because he holds me down. He understands every time if Poetic City have an event, but I'm supposed to film. Like I'm filming a commercial in Houston. It's the same weekend that Poetic City is having something. I'm like, hey, bro, I gotta go get this money.
That makes sense.
And him being a friend first, and the CEO of Poetic City, he like, hey, bro, go get it. You know what I'm saying? So it had to be the bag. Because either way, I'm gonna do what I love. I'm gonna continue to do what I love, and it's a lot of different things. But I'm gonna continue to do what I love. But at the same time, I'm thinking about building a legacy, and legacy, in my eyes, is being financially responsible and evolving with your finances. So it's about getting that bag too. And a lot of times black people don't want to talk about that. Yes, I want to be a good moral person and do for the community and all that, but I also want the bag.
I understand. So with acting, what's your dream role?
Oh man. I wrote a list of stuff down when it came to the dream roles before. Right now, my dream role, I'm just going to throw it out there, would probably be something like The Harder They Fall. I grew up loving cowboys, loving the Old West, watched Gunsmoke as a kid. So watching The Harder They Fall coming out, with Idris and Lakeith and Regina Hall, seeing us on the screen in the Old West with the pistols and the gunplay, that was just
I loved it too.
man. And the acting was fire as hell. Everything was just well done. I would love to be in a cowboy movie.
Who's
And I'd
gonna
do
be the
all my own
co-star?
stunts. Like
You're gonna do all the stunts too?
yeah, I would do well, not the super crazy ones, but I'd do most of them. But yeah, I would say a gunslinger. Yeah, a gunslinger. That would be fire. But when it comes to movies, I go out for everything. I see something and they'll send a post. They'll say any ethnicity, or they'll even say a white man. And if I love the description of the character, I'll go out for it because I don't want to limit myself to just black roles. Because if we're not writing it, they typecast us.
Mm-hmm.
I want to try everything. I want to have the ability to be a detective, to be a crackhead, to be the president, to be a school teacher, to someone with a drug addiction, someone with a mental issue, someone on the spectrum. Like I want to be able to play all those different things. So when it comes to me meeting with my acting coach every week and tapping into these different methods, and I'm really studying the craft. So I'm taking it serious. I'm not one of these people that's just trying to act and then getting in front of a camera and just trying to be dramatic. I'm actually studying the craft. I'm studying how to break characters down. I'm studying how to develop characters. I'm understanding how to take the interactions and coincide them well with what the script says. Just being able to really understand the craft has been it's been hard. And so if someone's out there and they're saying they're an actor or trying to act and they don't understand how hard it is and the homework that goes into it, you're not doing shit. Because I'm telling you, trying to be an actor is hard. It's hard.
What do you think the hardest type of role would be for you?
So a lot of the small things that I've done, I've tried to be the bad guy. I love being the bad guy. I like it. Shout out to Clifton Powell and people like him or I can't remember the other brother's name, but we have these people that we grew up watching on this big screen, and we hate them in our personal lives because they have been monsters all through the 90s and all through the movies we grew up on. I want to be that good. So I don't know what would be the hardest. I give much props to comedians that can do the dramatics, because to be a good comedian and have that timing, that's hard. Even people don't give. I don't think black people give Kevin Hart the props that he really deserves, because he's shown to switch over to dramatic lane and comedic, and you can call him corny or whatever, but what does his bank account say? At the end of the day, in my opinion, he's done funny movies and dramatic roles very, very well, and I want to be able to do both. I want to be able to do anything, everything.
That makes perfect sense to me. So, in that film that you were talking about, the Wild West film, who would be your co-star?
Of course, people will say Denzel.
Besides Denzel.
Besides Denzel, man, I'd really like to do some with Lakeith Stanfield. He's a beast. What's the brother's name that that played in the Fred Hampton movie? That played Fred Hampton. I don't remember his name.
I don't.
It's gonna come. It's gonna come to me right when I leave. But anyway, like that brother. Oh man, playing. I would love to be on a film with Miss Viola Davis.
She's awesome.
Oh, she's awesome. Yeah, she's awesome. Angela Bassett, because she's so cold. she's so cold with it. It's so the black gentleman that's on This Is Us.
Yes.
Man, he's fire. Yeah, he's fire. It's just so many that we honestly grew up on that don't get the props. I mean, even Lawrence Fishburne. I would love being on something with Lawrence Fishburne. It's a host. I would love to be in something, even if it wasn't a Wild Wild West, to be in something with the amount of talent that the Harder They Fall had. To be in something like that. Old school joint soul food. To be in something about the black family dynamic with so much talent. I always say that Darius Love Hall from Love Jones was corny. Black people gonna be mad at me about that. Black people gonna be mad at me about that. But yeah, he was a corny poet. Like that shit's corny.
I like that poem.
Yeah, that shit's corny. But Lorenz Tate is fire though. Man, I really want to be on Power.
Yes.
Oh man, I would love to be in the what is it calling the 50 calling it the Power Universe?
Yeah.
Man, I would love to be on the Power Universe. Anything 50, 50, anything you want, put me in. Man, as long as I don't have to wear no dress, holla at me. I have my limits. You know, that's something that a mentor of mine who's been acting in theater and such, which is theater. I want to do theater one day. They say if you want to be popular, do a movie. If you want to be rich, do a show. But if you want to be good, you want to be really good, do theater. And that's why you see Denzel so far. You know, he does a lot of theater work.
Got you. That makes perfect sense. So with you saying that you have your limits and you wouldn't wear a dress, would that be the same as like playing a crackhead for you, or is it different?
Playing a crackhead is different for me, just because, really, just because I have families that battle that.
Okay.
So it would be a representation of the pain that they went through.
That makes perfect sense.
Now, on the other hand, I could say the same for playing a gay man. But the thing about playing a gay man is, now I am an ally. I sit on boards that support gay rights and all of that. Like, you know, I have plenty. I'll say this: I have plenty of gay friends. Those individuals, and you know, I think when it comes, especially being an inclusive professional, I've really understood what it means to be an ally. An ally is not, you know, me going to a march with you, but it's me speaking up for you when you can't go into the room. You know, making sure policies are being changed when you don't have the ability to change them. And so me being an inclusion officer and an expert in that and a professional in that, that has allowed me to truly be a practicing LGBTQIA ally. But as in playing a gay man, I'm not interested in that. It's just because it's a particular light that I don't want my children to see me in.
I understand.
And so just playing a gay man, I'm just really not interested in that.
Gotcha. So here at Tishay Radio, we like to play a game. And since you like to act, I want you to give us a quick movie. Your dream movie. Just give us a quick. It don't have to be your real one because I don't want nobody to take it. So just give us a quick little a quick little movie of what you would be in.
I have to pick a real one?
No, just
Oh, I wish you would have. Wish you had a real one. If you have a real one, I
Oh,
can't.
you gonna act?
Yeah, if you give me,
Oh,
if
let's
you give me something real, I'll go with it. Cause I can't think of nothing.
Okay.
I can't think of
Ike
nothing.
Turner.
Oh shit. Okay. Sing the goddamn song how I told you, anime. Fix it. Get it together. Sing this motherfucker like I told you. Get the fuck out. Everybody get out. Because anime don't want to sing this motherfucker how I told her. All right. Everybody get your shit and get out, boy. Bring your ass over. Now the fuck did I tell you? I wrote the motherfucking song. I know how it need to be sung. Get your shit together. What? What? Bitch. Get it together. Nigga, what you looking at? Didn't I say get the fuck out?
Oh, that was dope. Okay, we need one more.
All right.
5 heartbeats.
Oh man. Hey. Oh, what's old boy name? Oh, I got you. Oh, what's the song? Oh. See, I still got it. Oh, Otis, you can't do this. What? You can't do this. Don't nobody want to see you, Otis. It's about me, boy. I still got it, don't I? Book it, boy. I'm telling you, nobody can touch me. And that little bullshit you doing, you ain't got. Watch this. Yeah, yeah. Oh, this ain't nobody coming to see you with your boring. You can't even do. Watch this. Woo! I wish I knew the what's the name though. Man, it's this cat that kills that it's a cat that kills that on TikTok, and I saved it. Man, I'm mad when I'm about to go look at it right now. But yeah,
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up. Well, I definitely want to thank you for coming to Tishay Radio. We definitely appreciate you. You have been amazing. You're always a friend, and welcome to Tishay Radio. Is there anything that you want to tell the audience before you leave?
it's gonna be a busy summer, for Poetic City. All platforms, check out Poetic City. I'll be putting my second album, my first album, Black and Shakespeare's Inc. Mac Woods, that's MacWoods. You can find my first poem on all streaming platforms, and it was dope. Executive producer was Big Worm, and I had a host of people on there, from Jacoby Ryan to Thomas Who. Who else is on there? Miss Devin Lewis, Oklahoma's finest. So I had a whole plethora. Miss Sharita Renee had a whole plethora of people on that first album. Go check it out. My second one, Pressure Cookers. It is all about black men and self-healing. That'll be coming out this summer. CL McCoy produced the whole thing. Been having an awesome experience doing that. Check me out. Movies, community outreach, all of that. Mac Woods.